With Love is a compelling story of family life in 50s Britain, told through the letters of two sisters. Throughout a decade often overlooked as drab and dreary, Gloria and Laura Geeve corresponded regularly, chronicling the little things of everyday life against a more universal backdrop. At the peak of their exchanges, Gloria was teaching in Alexandria when the Suez Crisis boiled over in 1956, and she ended up under house arrest while the Egyptian government pondered the fate of the foreigners. Her letters home record in fascinating detail the transition from the star-dusted life of the expat who danced the night away with Tito to the intense anxiety of virtual imprisonment in a hostile climate. Not to be outdone, Laura took herself off on a 6-month trip to America, where her exposure to the booming world of consumerism, compared with the day-to-day scrimping and saving at home, led to some sharp observations in her equally evocative descriptions. When Gloria died in 2008, these letters were discovered in a suitcase in the attic, a treasure trove of social history.
My dear Laura, thank you for your letter and Christmas card, also one from Mummy and Granny. The club Christmas was very gay, and I danced so much that I had bunions on my feet. I managed to win the statue dance, for which a very welcome diary was the prize. Then on Saturday there were the house parties. We had tea, far too much, with the juniors. You should have seen me playing Oranges and Lemons and Here We Go Gathering Nuts in May. I could almost sing it in tune by the end.
My dear Gloria, here is your birthday card, which I hope arrives in good time, and with it my best love and wishes for a happy birthday. We shall all be thinking of you. Granny has already started the usual obstetrical reminiscences. I hope that you have a lovely day.
The letters were a reminder, but they also made me realise things perhaps I didn't realise at the time, how much I owe, say, to my mother for all her efforts, tremendous efforts to always get the best for both Gloria and myself.
Thank you very much for your long letter. What fun to see Tito and Miss Monroe and the Aga Khan. What about the Begum? On the Friday, we had our lunch at the office. We all trooped out, or rather up, to the director's room and partook of a gorgeous turkey and salad, followed by mince pies and far too much champagne. The whole affair was very interesting from a psychological point of view. It was very funny when Mr. Simmons came up and told me confidentially that Victor was tipsy, and a few minutes later Victor came up and informed me that Mr. Simmons was tipsy. Actually, only the latter was.
When I was a child, I used to think the greatest possible thing would be to be able to go back in time. And now, rereading that correspondence has done exactly that for me. As I was rereading it and typing it and then reading it again and again, I just felt I was living then at that period.
What Englishmen there are here are beyond words. Lots of them the whiskey-swigging colonial type. Next Sunday is the memorial service at El Alamein, and some of us are going. The sea is supposed to be even bluer than here and the sand whiter. The games mistress and I are taking some of the boarders riding on Tuesday. The idea of my taking anyone riding is too funny, and I only hope my jodhpurs don't burst.
You will be an expert horsewoman when you come home, judging by your letter. You talk of nothing else. It's worse than listening to the Archers. Le 1er juin. Ma chère famille. As you can see, I have gone French. In fact, I feel as though I am on holiday in France, rather than on my way to New York. I hope you are all as well cared for as I am, but I doubt it, as far as the food goes. I have 2 very nice French girls in my cabin, and one speaks excellent English, and a young American of 13 who is travelling home to Texas with her mother, and a young brother who rejoices in the name of Buster. The cabin is quite spacious and the bunks comfortable, but the ventilation makes a noise like 1,000 antiquated vacuum cleaners. The food is so wonderful that it really makes up for what the tourist class quarters lack in luxury. There is no choice, but lunch and dinner are about 7 courses long, never the same, and deliciously cooked. For breakfast, I have ham because the eggs are so soft. The coffee is the only unpleasant thing. Tomorrow we must go to bed early because we will be able to see the Statue of Liberty at 5 in the morning. I hope it is not too misty. You all seem very far away. Distance is a peculiar thing.
The telephone is ringing, and it is a very reassuring sound, for yesterday we were cut off and we thought that it had been deliberately done. It will soon be time for breakfast, and then I will have a bath. It is so different at night in the blackout, but I did have one the other night in inky darkness. An extraordinary sensation, but very peaceful.
I know it was a very difficult time. I actually telephoned the British Council very often to get news because she wrote this enormous letter but wasn't able to send it till they actually escaped. But we didn't really have much news from her during that time at all, so it was a very worrying period.
What can I say of us? We are all afraid, but there is only self-control to be seen and felt. Between 5 o'clock and midnight is the longest time, when it is dark and the favourite time for raids. There are always shrieks of "out the lights" with every alert warning. Our lounge has been transformed into a den of iniquity, with a card table in the middle of it where there is usually a game of bridge going on. Unfortunately, each bomb or shell causes me to forget which hand took the trick or even what are trumps, so my knowledge of the game does not increase with so much play.
When I look back now, I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed at the enthusiasm and the desire to embrace life to the full.
I am going to take driving lessons when I am home because I have been thinking and have come to the conclusion that I would be stupid if I did not make use of the opportunity to buy a car. So I must save half and buy the rest on hire purchase. We will talk about the details when I get home. But what do you think of the idea?
It doesn't promise to be a warm weekend, so no sunbathing. But one can't grumble, can one? Mummy made some brawn out of half a pig's head. Not a nice thought, but actually it was very nice. There will be a lot of jam making and bottling to do, as we have such a lot of fruit in the garden. With love, Laura.
Well, she was the best possible sister. She was always there, either in person or with her letters, with advice and encouragement. She couldn't have been a better sister.
3 fifth form girls, Kudrea, Mireille and Tamada. How do you like the names? Took Sally, Jazz and me to lunch to taste Arabic food. They even called for us in a car, and what a spread. Rice, liver, meat cooked on spits, salads, Syrian bread, stuff which looked like semolina. One just dug into everything with a knife. Then something very toffee-like with a cheesy cream. Custard apples, which are as bad as artichokes, for there is nothing to them, and Turkish coffee. It was very sweet of them to take us.
Well, letters like that bring the past alive. I believe firmly in that. And people who knew that period will be interested to have their memories revived. And people who didn't know it will be able to learn quite a lot of social history. Because often the 50s are written off as being a dull period, and they weren't at all.
With Love is published by Acorn Independent Press and is available from all good bookshops and as an e-book from Amazon.